welcome back to Cinderella Math. This video is going to go over operations, all four operations with integers. So that's positive and negative whole numbers. This is best suited probably for a middle school level math. But if you're in pre-algebra or even high school math and you just need a refreshing on this, you are, of course, welcome to watch as well. All right. So let's just start with adding. Let's add some integers here. Okay, we know how to add two positives. That's something you've been doing for years and years, very basic elementary math. Let's just pretend we have 4 plus 5. 4 is positive, 5 is positive, and the result is 9, which is positive. We can kind of think about this as you can kind of add up little circles if you really want to. And this is how you might show a young child. You have 4 circles plus 5 circles, and that is a total of 9 circles. Okay? But what if we start getting into negatives? So let's do the same problem, but just make one of them negative. Actually, let's make them both negative. Let's say -4 plus -5, and sometimes we'll put this second one in parentheses. That's just so these two signs don't run into each other. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I like to so that my signs don't run into each other. And let's see what this equals. Okay, so I'm going to use blue little circles to be positive numbers, and I'm going to use red little circles to be negative. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you would have 9 little negatives. So when you are adding two negatives, it is the same exact thing as adding two positives. You will add like normal, but your result will be negative. I kind of think of it as money. So let's do one more over here. If you owe me $10 plus you owe me $3, add up your debts, you owe me 13. Okay. So negative plus negative, you add them as normal, and the result will be negative. You can also think of this on a number line. So again, I will start off with a positive plus a positive. So here's the number line. I'm just going to put some numbers on real fast. Okay, let's do just a regular 2 plus 3. So you're going to start at 0. Again, I know you know what 2 plus 3 is, but just pretend, just for example. You'd start at 0, and you go in the positive direction 2, because that's a positive 2. And then you would go in the positive direction 3. 1, 2, 3. So 2 plus 3 ends up at 5. Okay, but what if we have -2 plus -3? And again, you can put that second one in parentheses if you want so that the signs don't run together. You still start at 0, and this tells you to go in the negative direction to -2. So we'll go to -2, stop. And then this says go in the negative, so it's add on the negative direction 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. There. -5. Okay, so it's not always practical to draw those little circles, and it's not always practical to do the number line either. So I would highly recommend you just memorize this rule. Negative plus negative, add like normal, and the answer is negative. It does get a little more tricky when you're doing one positive and one negative. Okay. For example, let's take 8 plus -2. And I'll do it back with our circles, remembering blue is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then -2, red is negative. What happens here is that a positive and a negative will cancel each other out. Okay, so one of these reds, one negative, cancels out one positive, and one of these reds cancels out one of these blues. And what are we left with? 6 blues, so we are left with +6. And if you did that one on the number line, Again, start at 0, and they tell you to go 8 in the positive direction. So there we are. And then it says add on 2 in the negative direction. So you start at 8 and go 2 in the negative direction. You would be at 6. Okay, let's try 7 plus negative 9. Let me put some negatives on here. Okay. If I did the little counters, I need 7 positives and I need 9 negatives. Okay, again, each positive and negative can cancel themselves out. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, bye-bye. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, bye-bye. 1, 1. What's left? 2 negatives. Okay, and if you want to illustrate that one on the number line, let me white out the previous question. It says to start at positive 7, so start from 0, go positive 7, there we are. And then it says add on 9 in the negative direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we end up at negative 2. That should have been negative 2 from the get-go. Okay. So you might have noticed that we actually subtracted the numbers. 8 subtract 2 is 6. And here, 9 subtract 7. You do the big one minus the little one. 9 subtract 7 is 2. And what happens is the sign goes with the bigger number. So see how 8 was bigger? And that's why there was more blues left over. So that's why the answer is positive. But on the other example, 9 is bigger. And that's why there's more reds. That's why there was reds left over. And that's why the answer is negative. Okay? So you won't have to do these little tricks with the circles and the number lines for long. You will memorize, because you'll just do this so often, that the rule for a positive plus a negative, this could also be a negative plus a positive, either way. What you're really going to do is subtract, and the answer has the sign, so positive or negative, of the bigger number. Okay, so a couple more examples here. Negative 11 plus 4, 20 plus negative 5, negative 7 plus 10. Okay, so over on the first one, I'll call this number 1. Subtract, just do 11 minus 4 as normal, so that's 7. Which one was bigger? 11, and he's negative, so the answer is negative. Again, you can kind of pretend this is money. You owe me 11, you give me 4, you still owe me 7. Okay, coming to example 2 in the middle. 20 plus negative 5. One's positive, one's negative. We really subtract, so do 20 minus 5. Okay, that's 15. Which one's bigger? The 20, and he's positive, so leave the answer positive. Pretending it's money, you have 20, you spend 5, you'd still have 15. And last one, I'll call this example 3. Subtract, so do 10 minus 7, so that's 3. And which one's bigger? The 10. And he's positive, leave the answer positive. So again, pretend it's money. You owe me 7, but you're so kind, you gave me back 10. You gave me 3 extra. That was so nice of you. Thank you. Okay, this one takes practice. Okay, but you will catch it. All right, let's go into subtracting. Okay. So first, positive minus positive. This is the subtracting you've been doing since you were in first grade, right? 20 minus 3. You have 20 bucks, you spend 3, you've got 17. Okay, that's just normal subtracting. Okay, what if it is negative minus negative? So negative 10 minus negative 2. And again, you really do want to put that back one in parentheses this time, because if you don't, look how those, see, sometimes those will run together and you don't want that. Okay. This one is best illustrated on the number line. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's negative 10. Okay, so we would start from 0, go to negative 10, because that's first, and then minus negative 2. So minus means you usually go left, right? Because that takes you smaller on the number line. But then negative means go left again. Okay, that is reversing yourself and going to the right. If you go left, left again, right. So you're actually going to go bump, bump, which will be negative 8. So the rule is minus, minus turns to plus. You can think of it as canceling a debt. So if you owe me 10, and then I'm going to say, no, never mind, minus $2 of that debt. So you owe me 10, and I'm like, nah, let's just forget about the negative 2. Let's forget about those extra those extra dollars you owed me. So let's cancel $2 of your $10 debt. So this is basically cancel, and this is your debt. So you owed me 10 in the beginning. I'm like, yeah, let's just cancel $2 of that debt, and that means you owe me 8. Okay? And this actually works for anything minus a negative. Okay, let's do that again. I know this one's probably the hardest one to like understand, but think of it as canceling a debt. Okay, let's do 6 minus negative 3. Okay, so just using the rule, whenever you see minus minus, two minuses together, turn it to plus. Boop, big plus, 6 plus 3 is 9. That's how you use the rule. Whenever you see two minuses, turn it to plus. Okay, if you want to think of it as money, you had 6, and then let's cancel a debt of $3. So you have 6 in your pocket, and basically I'm going to give you 3 because I'm canceling that debt. I'm like, oh no, here's this 3 back. You don't owe me. We're friends. It's fine. So now you have 9 in your pocket because you had 6. I added 3 by canceling that debt you owed me. You now have 9. Number line wise, if you're at 6, here you are. And I said minus, minus, so you go left, left, and that would reverse you, and you'd go 1, 2, 3 to the right. Okay? Minus, minus turns to plus. Okay, these next ones I'm just going to do straight up. Okay. So these I won't explain with the debt. I'll just use the rule. Anytime you see minus, minus, turn to big plus. That's just 12 plus 3, 15. That's negative 8 plus 5. So now it's a positive plus a negative. We really subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. The bigger number is 8, which is negative, so make it negative. So that's why you had to learn the adding rules first. Minus minus turns to plus. 100 plus 14 is 114. I'll do one more section of those. These are the trickiest ones. Okay, just using the rule, I'm on the left side of the screen. Minus minus turns to plus. You owe me 10, plus you give me 7, you would still owe me 3. Minus minus turns to plus. You owe me 4, you give me 3, you still owe me 1. Minus minus turns to plus. 8 plus 1 is 9. So that's what you do if you have a minus minus. What if it's just subtract? What if it's just negative 9 minus 3? So if you think of this on the number line, you're at negative 9. And then minus 3 left 3. 1, 2, 3. You'd be at negative 12. So see how there was no double minus. We did not turn that to plus. Okay, so when it's just subtracting, you actually do add a negative. Oops. Because this could have been this, couldn't it? From a second ago? That works too. Let me show you that again. So say you owe me 4, and now you owe me 3. So think of it as debt. You owe me 4, you owe me 3, all together you owe me 7. That is the same thing as saying you owe me 4 plus you owe me 3. So subtracting, just straight subtracting, not minus minus, just straight subtracting is the same as adding two negatives. Okay, let me show you some of these. And then don't worry, multiplying and dividing is actually much easier. Okay. So these are, well, I did put in 1 minus minus, but looking at the top, let's call this number 1. You owe me 3, you owe me 5. All together, you'd owe me 8. If you want to, you can think of it as this. You owe me 3 plus you owe me 5. Same thing. Number 2, you owe me 11, you owe me 4. All together, you'd owe me 15. Again, if you need to rewrite that, that would be negative 11 plus negative 4. You can do that. Up to the top, number 3, I threw in a minus minus. Whenever you see the minus minus, right back together. Again, that parentheses, just keeping it separate. Immediately turn it to a big plus. That is the rule. 12 plus 4 is 16. Or you can think of it like this. 12 minus negative 4. You had 12 in your pocket. I'm going to cancel your debt of 4. So I'm like, oh no, you don't owe me these $4. Here you go, take it back. You had 12, I gave you 4 back by canceling the debt. That's where it's 12 plus 4, which is 16. And last one, you owe me again. You owe me 8, you owe me 10. All together, you'd owe me 18. You owe me 8 plus you owe me 10. Okay, this takes practice. This one's probably the hardest. Okay, multiplying, and I'm going to do multiplying and dividing all in one step because it's really the same. Okay. All right, that's going to be the key there, that little triangle. When you just have a positive times a positive, let's just talk multiplying first. It is positive. This is the type of multiplying you've been doing for years, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. 10 times 2 is 20. The end. Okay, and now here's how to use this little triangle thing here. When you have a positive times a positive, so let's say 5 times 6, you would cover up the two positive, let's see. I forgot how the little thing worked. Oh my gosh, brain seizure here. All right, never mind. I lied about the little triangle. I forgot how that worked. Let's play tic-tac-toe. You put positives down the diagonal and negatives everywhere else. There we go. Okay, so for that blue example, you have positive times positive. So positive, positive, the answer is positive. So the answer is 30, leave it positive. Okay? All right. Let me just do that. I remember the triangle being cute, but it's not coming to my mind, sorry. All right, let's do negative times negative. it is also going to be a positive. -2 times -4. And again, sometimes we'll just put that in parentheses, the second one, so the signs don't run together. You don't have to, but I think it does make it look neater. If you come over to my tic-tac-toe, find two negatives that are in a row. So if you look at the bottom row, negative times negative equals positive. This will be 8. 2 times 4 is 8. So I know they're both negative, but the rule is negative times negative equals positive. Let's do another one. -5 times -5. Just do 5 times 5. 25. The end. Because negative times negative is positive. It's just the rule. Basically, if you were on the number line, that's saying here's 0, go to -5, and then reverse that 5 times. So that would actually reverse you to 5. I know it's weird. Just believe me, negative times negative is positive. All right, let me reset here. What if they're opposite signs? Opposite signs come out negative. So if you have positive times negative or negative times positive, those both come out negative. Okay, let's say 7 times -2. So find the row that has a positive and then a negative. So that's actually the top row. Positive, negative, this is the answer. So just do 7 times 2, so 14, and make it negative. Positive times negative is negative. Basically, the rule is if they have opposite signs, they are negative. Okay, let's do another one. Just got to reset my tic-tac-toe. And again, to set up the tic-tac-toe, it's positives on the diagonal, negatives everywhere else. Let's do a negative first. How about -3 times 4? And again, you don't have to do parentheses. It's just a habit I'm in. So that's a negative times a positive. So find that row. That's the middle row. Negative times positive. This is the answer. So the answer is going to be negative. 3 times 4 is 12. So basically that's saying you have -3, if you did your little thingies, 4 times. So that would end up being -12. Okay. Dividing works the exact same way with the exact same tic-tac-toe. So if the signs are the same, if it's positive, divide positive, the same division you've been doing for years, or negative divide negative, see how they're the same? They come out positive. Okay, so 50 divide 5, that's positive divide positive, positive 10. -12 divide -2, again, parentheses recommended so that the signs don't run together. Negative divide negative, divided as normal, 12 divided 2 is 6, and 2 negatives turn positive. That's the bottom row on tic-tac-toe. Negative divide negative is positive. If the signs are opposite signs, so if it's a positive, divide a negative, or a negative divide positive, see how they're opposite, the answer is negative, just like it was for multiply. I'm going to come over here for these examples. What if it's -30 divide 10? That's a negative divide a positive. That's the middle row, negative, positive, answer. 30 divide 10 is 3, make it negative. Okay, what if it's 49 divide -7? That's a positive divide a negative. That's the top row, positive, negative, answer is going to be negative. 49 divided 7 is 7, but we make it negative. And that's it for multiplying and dividing. If you can get that tic-tac-toe board down, or you can just remember that if they're the same sign, it comes out positive. Some people say 2 wrongs make a right. If the negative, negative, 2 wrongs make a right. And if they're opposite signs, it comes out negative. So I'll do a mix of everything now, and then I'm going to let you go. Mixed review. This does just take practice, but you do want to be good at it. Believe me. It will save you time in the future if you can be really good at your integer skills. I'm going to letter the questions because sometimes when it gets too many numbers on here, I get confused. Okay, so I'm going to start at A. Positive times negative, they're opposites, so the answer is negative. 6 times 3 is 18, so that'd be negative 18. B, you owe me 10, you owe me 8, you owe me 18. Or you could think of it this way. You owe me 10 plus you have a debt of 8. So altogether, your debts come out to 18. On the number line, you're at negative 10, and then you're left another 8. You would end up at negative 18. C, you have $16, you spend 11. You would still have 5. So if you're on the number line, you would start at 16. Then you'd go backward to the left 11. You'd end up at 5. You could also do the little counters on that one, and they would cancel out until there's only 5 positives left. D, you owe me 8 plus you owe me 3. You owe me 11. You could also do the little counters on this one. You could have 8 negatives and 3 negatives ends up with 11 negatives. E, division is a positive divided negative. They're opposite, so it's going to come out negative. 20 divided 4 is 5. So final answer, negative 5. F, that is another way to write division, right? The slash means division. That's 2 negatives. Oh, they're the same sign. So that means it'll come out positive. 18 divided 3 is 6. Leave it positive because negative times negative or negative divide negative, either way, is positive. G, minus minus, immediately turn it to plus. You owe me 6, you gave me 1, you owe me 5. Okay. Or if you're on the number line, you were at negative 6, and then it said to go left, negative 1, which reverses you that way, 1. A minus minus reverses you. You owe me 4, but you're so kind, you gave me 12. That's 8 extra. Okay. Or you could do your little things. There's 4 negatives, 12 positives. And then if you started doing your cancel out, 1, 2, 3, bye-bye, one more, bye-bye, there would be 8 positives left. And finally, I, multiplication, negative times negative, they're the same. That means it's going to be positive. 5 times 3 is 15. Leave it positive. And done. Again, this just takes a lot of practice. There's tons of worksheets online. If you just type in integer operations practice, you will find so much. There's even games, I'm sure, online. Practice on this. It is really important, but you will catch it after practicing. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye-bye.